tough night for us. We ran into a buzzsaw. We did some things that we had to try to do tonight to try to slow their run in, pass down. They were very multiple on offense, and defensively we challenged them, and we didn't cover the deep ball early, and it got us. And as I told the players, I'm proud of them. They played hard. They didn't quit. They played hard all the way through. Defensively, we had to do things that we just, we sometimes we've been able to do this year, and sometimes we hadn't been able to do it. But tough night, and then of course on the offensive side of the ball, we weren't able to run it in the first half, and it kept our defense on the field, and we couldn't run any time off. We've been one-dimensional, and then we got some offensive linemen hurt that really put us one-dimensional. But we competed. We just gave up too many points, and it's one of those games where going into it, you felt pretty good about it as long as you didn't make a lot of mistakes. But man, we made more than our share in one game. Questions?
Kind of penalties, turnovers, blocked punts. Is it frustrating how much of the self-inflicted variety things there were going on?
Yeah, and we hadn't done that all year. When it comes to that's the first punch we've had blocked. And we try to do some things to try to keep it away from their returners, and we actually punted into the block one time and just didn't execute. The guy the right up back blocked inside instead of blocking outside. It was just kept, bad things just kept happening to us. And, you can't be conservative even on your kicking game. We spread them out and tried to have coverage on the return guy. And, we never even thought they'd get close to our punt. One of our punt times were slow. The other one was, we didn't protect well enough. But the penalties, what can you say? We had penalties and they didn't. And then, of course, the turnovers on offense and snap over the head. We've had problems with snap all year long. And the problem that Gallington had is, had some young guys in there trying to get them lined up and blocking the right way and concentrating on protection and calling the front with new guys trying to communicate. And he's trying to do too much and then forgot about the snap that one time. But he had his hands full all night when we had to shuffle our offensive line around.
Is that why they were able to get into the backfield so much?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was they were back there quite a bit. But they've gotten backfield against everybody. We felt like with our left side we were in good shape. We're going to slide our front to the right side most of the night, and then we lose our left tackle, who's our best guy, and we had to make wholesale adjustments, move a right tackle, left tackle. That's no excuses, and we didn't execute, but it didn't help us, with our young inside guys having to play those guys, and Derek trying to get everybody, lined up and calling the right fronts and making the calls and getting them on the right guys.
Could you elaborate on what you said or try to do on defense? It's like you said you were.
Yeah,
picking your poison,
we pressed their wide receivers, and by doing that, playing man coverage, we tried to put 8 in box, 7 in box, trying to stop their running back, and they got the one play action on us, and then the one where they got the one long pass, our corner goes up to jam him, and he trips and falls down and misses him. And again, that's you play zone on those guys, which people have done all year long, and they just run up and down the field. So we was trying to do something we felt like we could match up on the outside and just take away the run and force them to throw the ball down the field. And it obviously it backfired on us.
Was 65 the guy?
65 left tackle, Waddle.
You know what he had?
Yeah, he's got a knee injury. I don't know to the extent, but of course we're at the end of the year, and that's pretty serious. It's not I hope it's not an ACL where we lose him, for 3 or 4 months, but we'll just have to wait and see.
What did Alfredo Morales have?
He's got shoulder. He had a bad shoulder all year long, and he had to keep going in and out. He just couldn't play.
And Torres, what happened?
Torres, in a walkthrough yesterday, something happened to his back, and he just froze up on him, and we had to switch around and put a couple new receivers in the game even before kickoff. We thought he might be able to go, but he tried to. It hurt him not to be able to play, but he just wasn't able to. He couldn't bend over and touch his toes, just back locked up on him.
And Douglas, he was practicing.
Yeah, he was practicing good, and he's before the game he just didn't feel like he could open up and run full speed.
Looking at the last 2 years, is this Oklahoma State just a bad matchup for you guys?
No, just and our guys like to play against them. Last year we felt pretty good going in. It's just we never got any consistency. We couldn't get up. The second half, you know, we're down by 21. We're driving and got a great play, and we get a holding call. And it just, the little things just kept us from getting any momentum. We couldn't get any momentum at all. And Daggy was running for his life, you know, once we had to shuffle our offensive line around. We had to throw the ball. When we got down, we couldn't keep running it. And you know, it's just one of those things that's happened to us. We hadn't played like that all year. I just told them that, you know, last year we played several like this, and we went into this game feeling pretty good about it. Our offense feeling good, and then we have the mess up in the offensive line, and it felt like it just took the air out of our offense. And then, of course, defensively we've been holding on anyway, and just we didn't hold on at all tonight.
I mean, the pressure of the big plays was
Yeah.
what's been hurting you.
I can't remember the one before Kansas, but yeah, well, Texas game we did. Yeah, we've given up big plays and, you know, post routes and go routes. And again, if you go back and look at Texas, that's what we're trying to do with them, is trying to stop the run, because that's what they did. And we felt like today you got to take your choice on what you want to do. We talked about it, you know, Sunday and Monday going into this game, and we said, you know, we feel like that, you know, we keep them to one big play, we'll be in good shape. You know, be able to stop the run, control a little bit, get them in third downs, and then go to zone coverage, you know. And you know, it just got away from us so quick early, you know, with the big plays. And the one was pretty good. They ran speed option pass on us, and we had a tough time speed option last week, and they did a good job of executing that. They were able to pull it off. You know, of course they dropped one. I think was their first drive of the game. They had a post route, in which we were in man coverage trying to stop the run, and again, you know, we'll go back and evaluate this week and probably try to mix it up a little bit more. That puts a lot of pressure on corners when you do that. When you line up, and we play man coverage on top of. We've played better man coverage when we press receivers all year long, and we've been pretty successful out of it. But today, you know, we didn't have hardly any success.
On the punt blocks, did y'all change anything in the protection between the first one and the second one?
Well, you know, Amara was one of our guys that we had in there, and ever since then we hadn't had anybody really rush us. And again, the one block where they had the second block we're kicking what we call sky right, and they did a good job of bringing three to the side that we're punting from, and our punt was pretty slow. But still, you got to have protection. It wasn't the punter's fault. Snaps were good. They just did a good job of bringing it when normally the other team doesn't come. You know, because your guys get down the field. The other we were punting to the right, and that's where they brought the rush from. And our right up back, you know, didn't widen and get a hand on the guy at all, and they got a piece of it.
There was one point in the season where, I believe it was after West Virginia game, when y'all faced Tavon Austin, Erxleben said that he had been instructed to hold the ball slightly longer to give coverage a chance to get down there.
Yeah, that wasn't tonight, because that was more of a coverage thing and a thing where we were possibly going to fake it. But tonight, no, it didn't happen. They executed, we didn't, and again, they did a good job of bringing the pressure from the side where we're punting the ball to. We're going right, and they brought it from the right, and you know, our up back didn't get over, and we at least get a hand on him where you possibly can get it off. But we didn't do that.
How much work do you have in front of you if your offensive line is?
Yeah, it's well, I mean,
you have
it's
the same offensive line next week?
first of all, well, you know, Alfredo will probably definitely be out because of his shoulder. I wouldn't imagine Waddle will might play, but I don't know much about practice. And you got to practice. You know, you got to be able to practice and give you some rhythm. But the big thing is give Gallington a chance to work with the guys that are going to play next week, and we'll probably end up playing like we did last week, of flipping the right guy over, the right tackle over, and we played Castor. He'll probably have to play some. He's more of a center than he is a guard, but he'll have to play. And we can adjust our protections up too, depending on who plays. You just couldn't adjust them as the game went on, and give yourself a chance to come back from the deficit we were in of 21 points at halftime. So,
With 3 losses in 4 games and no open dates during this long stretch, where do you feel like the morale is right now?
well, morale's good. I tell you, we had our best practices last week. You know, I got no problem with the effort and how the guys, you know, go into each game and how they compete. It's just, you know, it seemed like we were on worst enemy in a lot of ways tonight. you know, in terms of just mentally not making a play, or mentally as a coach putting a guy in a position to not have success. So, you know, it's been a long 8 games, but you know, we'll bounce back. You know, this is a big game for us next week. You know, we'll have one after this, which is huge for all of our young guys. They'll have a chance to practice going into bowl practice. But we've got 7 days to get ready for another big game in Dallas. It won't get any easier, I promise you.